What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Life Sedans podcast. I am your host, Trey Culata. Thank you, as always, for pressing play and joining me on this journey through life as we try and figure out how to live our most authentic lives, be our most authentic selves, and live up to our fullest potentials. And now, today, we are wrapping up our March Madness, I'm going to call it, March Money Madness. As I dive into this misconception we have about money equaling success. This is something that I have struggled with personally for so long. And I know a lot of us do. It is the way that our society here in the United States has been trained. It's like it goes back decades, right? To the founding fathers and the energy that they put into building this country and, by the sweat of their brows. And, that's not to say that we can't be financially successful. That's a big part of, our lives. But if you don't have money in your bank account, does that mean that you are not successful? In my opinion, the answer is no. Because let's take a few examples here. In my case. So am I a successful mom? I think so. I've got one child who's already a, 2-time state champion gymnast, and another one who is just totally amazing, taking acting classes. They're both well behaved. I even got a compliment the other day from another mom who said, "Wow, Ember's really great at picking up after herself," because she was over there for a sleepover. And I'm like, you know what? That's a little check in the positive column for my mom duties, like a little bit of amazing validation. And as far as even work goes, it's like, okay, if you were to look at my bank account right now, you'd be like, this girl, if we're purely measuring with the yardstick of money, you would be like, this girl is not successful. But guess what? I'm building property out in the mountains, which is something that a lot of people would never do. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm measuring my success based on the difficulty of the challenges that I'm taking on in my life, it becomes a whole other ballgame. It goes back to that gap in the gain. Am I measuring myself against somebody else's life and comparing myself, and that's how I'm measuring my success? Because we all do it. You see that sports car or that dream car driving down the road and you don't have it, so you go into want and desire and maybe even lack, thinking, okay, well, I don't have that, so I'm not successful. I don't have the big house, like right now. Am I living in my dream house? No. But I'm doing my damnedest to make my current living space as beautiful and as inviting and inspiring as possible, so that while I'm here, I'm enjoying my time while I create what I need to be able to get that dream home. And even that for me is a measure of success. Because if I'm taking steps to really make my space beautiful and inviting and, clean, free of clutter, that to me is success. What's another measure of success? Did I do all the things that I said I was going to do today, that I set out to do? I would suggest that if you have to-dos, that you pick your top 3 and that's it. And that way you can, I had it explained once through a podcast, get a W for the day. And if you get 4 W's in a week, that means you've won the week. So if you get through the 3 major things top 3 priorities that you need to get through in a day or accomplish in a day, that's a W for the day. And then, have those days add up to winning the week. And before you know it, you've won the entire month, and then half of the year, and then an entire year. So and I hope I'm explaining this clearly to where it really resonates and sinks in. Because for the longest time, I was, we're all chasing the dollar, right? And it's so hard for me, especially because I was brought up in an environment where it was like we were constantly, it's like my mom was a workaholic, dad was in the military, work ethic, chasing the dollar, right? We're all out here trying to achieve this success, but it ends up becoming a story of burnout. We end up burning ourselves out. We end up depressed, and we end up just in this constant loop of not feeling like we're good enough and not feeling like we're making enough progress, which just begets more of those feelings. It's like this trap, like we can never fucking get out of it. And I think the key to unlocking the door to approaching your life with joy is reframing the way that you look at your individual successes. Because everybody's different. Everybody's on a different life path. Everybody grows differently, thinks differently, thinks different things are funny. I mean, we're all so very different. So you have to first, obviously, comparison's got to be out the window. I did a whole episode on how to get out of comparison and into joy. So if you need to, you can always go back and listen to that or watch it. But what I'm trying to say is this was a very hard concept for me to wrap my head around for the longest time, because I have been, we've all been programmed for decades that success means money, car, house, clothes, etc. And yes, those things absolutely bring us joy. But is that the end all be all? Because right now, I have freedom of choice when it comes to my time. And yes, I did grind to get to this point. But to me, that's success. When you get to a point where you can dictate your schedule, that's success. Even though I'm not making tens of thousands of dollars a month right now, I'm working on it, guys. I am working on it, okay? You will see the success story as it unfolds. That's why we're documenting this. But right now, I have the freedom to dictate my own schedule. And that, to me, is success. I'm a successful mother. I like to think I'm a successful wife. I mean, that's insider's perspective. But, babe, if you got any input there, leave it in the comments. Yeah. So what is it for you? What do you need to reframe in terms of your successes? I mean, I've been hitting the gym consistently. I'm really taking good care of myself. I've been eating clean. I've been reading every day. And those little tiny habits built up over time equal to me, and they should for you, success. Because the times when I feel the most successful are not always the times when I've got a lot of money in my bank account. A lot of times it's when I go out and I do something hard that I didn't think that I could do. I mean, that's when I always feel the most successful. Like, have you ever gone on a big hike, or maybe you learned to do something like a skill, like, I don't know, snowboarding or golfing, or, I mean, even for me, dance. Like, if I figure out a tough dance move and I nail it, that's success. And if we can really learn to be aware and embrace those tiny moments of success, it will add up to a life of joy, an entire life of joy. I mean, I know now I'm taking a turn into cheesy town, but it's like these little tiny successes. Like, did I get up on time today? Did I not hit that snooze button? Success, ding, 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 Good job, Trey. You're doing fucking great. Did I fold all my laundry today? That's a tough one for me. Not successful in the laundry department most weeks, but whatever. I'm human. So you get the point. At least I hope you get the point that our successes cannot be equated to the amount of money in your bank account, because if that's all you're focusing on, you're just going to create this kind of cycle of misery for yourself. And then, if we look at it the opposite way, think about people that we hear about it all the time. Famous people taking their lives. And we think to ourselves, why would you commit suicide when you have literally everything? Right? It doesn't make any sense. So the inner game and what we have on the inside is so much more important than all the material shit that we tend to equate success with on the outside. Because if you're going out and getting that expensive house and your house poor, or the same thing with that car payment or whatever, just trying to keep up appearances with everybody else, it's going to be really stressful. And that's going to come through in the rest of your feelings, your emotions, the way you treat, your spouse, your kids, your friends. So my advice to you is get into the gain. Get out of the gap, get into the gain, quit comparing yourself to others, quit comparing and equating your success with the amount of money that you have in your bank account. Although, if you got a good amount in there, fucking hooray. I celebrate you. Fuck yeah. I'm right behind you, bud, because right now my shit is tied up. But it's okay. I'm investing in myself, and that's what matters. Okay? So, write it down. Every day, write down those wins. I write down my wins every day at the end of the day, the top 3. And it just builds those little things of, those instances of self-confidence, because that's where self-confidence comes from. I know we say a lot of times people are born with it, but I really think that it's something that is acquired over time by proving to yourself that you can do the hard things, or that you can be consistent with something. That's where confidence comes from. Okay? All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, please let me know what that was. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was from today's episode. And also, if you got something out of it, I invite you to share it with somebody else who might get something out of it, okay? Let's start framing our successes based on that intrinsic value that we all have and are capable of achieving, okay? Love you all. Till next time. Let's go.